Both of them. William Mackey, the skipper, lining up on the wing for this opening bounce. It's going to be Johnson and Conway as we get going. And it's Johnson who takes it out of the air and wobbles it forward, but it's cut off by Buse for the Cats. Mackey underneath it, couldn't hang on. And Edmonds' handball was off the mark.
Those changes for Geelong. Toby Conway back after a game in the AFL. Sean Manor, as we mentioned. Gary Rowan. O'Sheen Mullen back, the Irishman. Jamison Ballantyne, the former Footscray player, makes his debut for Geelong. And Todd White, a 23-year-old from Leopold.
15 AFL listed Cats out there today, so it is a strong side, and you see the intent early from Edmonds, but he just got a little bit high on Bailey Tome, the former Brisbane Academy member. And you see the foot skills there of Mackey. That's what's made him such a valuable player as they look for and find Jorgensen, the big full forward, new to the club this year from Essendon. Got off to a good start to his Northern Bullants career back in round one with a couple of goals. And he can kick the first today.
He was very impressive on a few occasions at the Bombers, and it looked like he was going to step away. And he signed with Wangaratta Rovers up in the Ovens and Murray over the off-season, but then the Ants came calling and he said, no, I've still got more to give at this level, which is great to see, and it's a win for the red and white.
Just 24 years old, 17 goals from 17 games last year. Tried to bring it back, but was unable to. First score of the day is a minor.
So they need to get a good start and they need to take their chances, the Bull Ants. Keep some pressure on Geelong. We've seen the Cats fall away in the last quarter, both games so far. Lawson Humphreys brings it back in. Conway reaches over the top. Couldn't take the mark. Good tackle by Toby Conway, and also he's coming through in the other direction. There for Geelong was Darcy Edmonds. Did a good job. Brought the ball down. Conway too tall. Stolen by Mackey off the hands of Hardy. Kicks down to full forward. 1-on-2 contest. There's a whistle here for a hold. It's going against Jorgensen. The free kick to be taken by Emerson Jecker, who was an SSP selection for the Cats after being delisted by Hawthorn at the end of last year. Another one who the Bombers thought they might have had at their disposal in the VFL.
Seen him play primarily as a forward, but the Cats have moved him down back. Not great disposal there as Murdoch and Jecker get themselves into trouble. But good signs early for the Ants. Pressure's been good. It's been all in their forward half of the ground to this point. Of course, only 3 minutes in. Smithy's VFL footy on afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app. Fairly in there. 46 disposals back in round one as the Cats clear. And here's Murray. Kicked 6 goals from his first 2 games at state league level. He's been an excitement machine, the 23rd man. That's a well-placed ball for Bradkey, who just had it go to ground. Johnson's been busy early. Velasaris. And now they've got some run here, the Ants. Mackey and Velasaris combine. They're tight-roping the boundary line. They're going to keep going. Velasaris just keeps it in play. And now a chance for Goodman on debut today at this level. Sent it to the top of the square. Flying was Crosby. Couldn't bring it in. And Elliott will see it over.
Enterprising start, isn't it, for the Bull Ants? They've had the game on their terms so far as Gary Rowan comes off for his first rest of the day. Cats will be having a close eye on him as he plays his first game of the year after that back injury. Conway with the tap. He's going to win a lot of those today. Trying to work his way through there unsuccessfully was Lucas Edmonds. The Cats might break clear now. It was forced out by Hardy. High tackle. Be a free kick for Ballantyne. On half-back, he chips into the middle of the ground to Willis. Good passage of play in round one he did. He gave the hand pass off. Running through the half-back line for Geelong was Mullen. Kick inside 50, nicely intercepted. And that's taken by Wallace.
Another one who's new to the club this year. Half their list has been turned over, the Ants, from 2023 to 2024. Of course, a change of coach will do that. Brodie Holland back to the Essendon District Footy League, and Rowan Welsh, the new man, in. So what can the Cats conjure in their first real attacking foray? Conway was caught behind. Hardy, who's been prolific in the early stages of the season, is unable to break free. He's already got the 3 touches today, Hardy, as does Mackie, the milestone man and the captain of this Northern Bullants side, who was so sorely missed for most of last year through injury. Under pressure, the Ants defense. It's a shaky-looking kick. Elliott got a cruel bounce. Caperon, always the calming influence. Looking for Nevitt and finding him in the pocket with a perfectly weighted ball. It's Mitch Nevitt made an AFL cameo a couple of weeks ago. Got on for about 90 seconds in the AFL Cats win over the Crows, but hasn't been cited at the higher level outside of that. 1 goal, 2 for the season. It's going to go right to the line, and it's stumped through.
So first score for the Cats, levels it up after 6 minutes. It's the skipper, Mackie, to bring the ball back into play. Nothing really forthcoming for him. He's given the hurry up and now the play on call. So he'll wander away to the outer side of the ground. A beautiful kick and a strong grab taken by El Hawley. Important player for the Bullants, Saad El Hawley. They need him to have a good season. Centering ball. Gets nicely into Hamilton, North Melbourne recruit. Across the half-back line to Matt King. The other skipper, hand pass off quickly, went to Hayes. He put his teammate under a little bit of pressure. Now Buse has it for the Cats, steps around Mackie, gave it off there to Herbert, stepping inside, back to Buse, turns back inside on himself again, and that creates some pressure. Good work by the Bullants. Taken away here by Geelong, however. Conway fed it out wide to Caperon. The new skipper goes short. Nice pass, nice mark taken there by Closey.
Has it on the true centre wing position. Spots Stevens on his own. At centre half forward, turns 19 today, George Stevens. Moves it quickly. Humphrey's foot skills are pristine. And you see it there as the Cats kick the first.
Yeah, really good footy, wasn't it, Geelong? When they got the chance to break, they went quickly. Mullen would have been a chance and would have been almost within his rights to take that shot himself, given Humphreys was almost past him. But the handball was good enough to allow the draftee from WA to have a comfortable shot at goal and put it away.
Yeah, picked 63 in last year's draft. A graduate, I should say, of the West Coast Academy. Makes his way over to Geelong for season 2024 as Gary Rowan makes his way onto the ground. Assume he'll be on some sort of minutes restriction today.
You think so? Yeah, Lawson Humphreys actually the last live pick he was in the draft, and the Cats said it was a speculative selection. He played in Swan District's Reserves Premiership last year. And a good start to him here as Conway takes it out of the ruck. Trying to barge through was Willis, beaten for it there. High tackle earned by Jacobs. Gives the handball off quickly to Franks. He goes to half forward, beautifully weighted kick, finds Lucas Edmonds. He'll swing around onto the right boot, drive it up to full forward. Jorgensen's got the sit, got rid of his man, couldn't take the mark. Ground level ball now, taken for the Cats there by Jecker. Chipped it out short. They can steady things down through Darcy Edmonds, who's returned to Geelong after playing for GWS last year. His kick a little bit wide. And a free kick against El Hawley, however. It'll go to Willis on half back.
Yeah, just a little bit of front on contact there as Edmonds takes a strong mark. Jecker's going to have his hands full with Jorgensen. We saw last year when they had Brandon Ryan, the Ants were a tough out with a big, strong, tall forward in there, and they've got another one this year. Conway the target here. Offhand Herbert, read it really well. 25 touches for him last week. Big hit on Stevens.
Hard and fair from Saad El Hawley.
Yep, absolutely. On the bottom of the pack, Tanner Lewis in for his first game of the season. Romeliotis now giving Johnson a spell in the ruck as Velasaris clears. Goodman handles it on the bounce well. Needs support through the corridor. Gets it in the form of Hamilton. Takes a bounce dangerously. Goodman, Woll, exciting build-up here from the Ants. Can Woll find a target inside 50? Elliott has it thumped away by Humphreys. Elliott will get another go at it. Herbert's got him. And now the ball is locked in. And the umpire will say, give it to me, but exciting stuff from the Ants when they sense the opportunity. They've conceded the first goal of the day after losing by 39 points in round one. The Cats have lost their first two games by 53 to Werribee and 34 to Box Hill.
Both games, they were right in at three-quarter time and fell away. So that would be the aim for the Bullants as a high ball comes in towards full forward from Will Elliott. Rated highly, Will Elliott. Put it out wide, but Buse will get it for Geelong. Sends it long towards the wing, and Manor is off to the races. The Norm Goss medalist sends it down towards half forward. Foster, the target, had the set, judged it beautifully, and will line up for goal from 47. A lovely kick from Sean Manor, wasn't it?
Certainly was, and this man is an interesting figure. Pick 52 back in 2022. He's got a lot of talent. Hasn't put it all together just yet, but still only 19 years old. I feel like he could be just about anything.
He's a big body for that age. 19 and a half, 198 centimetres. From South Australia. Kicks on its way for Foster from 48 metres out. It's a beautiful hit. And it's the second goal on the board for Geelong. Foster gets his first. The Cats go to 2-1-13. Bullants one behind.
So for all the promise from this start for the Bullants, they lead the inside 50 count 6-4, but the only two goals of the game so far have gone the Cats' way through Lawson Humphreys and Phoenix Foster.
We mentioned those ins for Geelong, the outs. Connor O'Sullivan making his AFL debut today. Hamish Lucas, Kate Shawcraft, Bailey van der Heuvel, Braden Ham, who actually retired from VFL football during the week to play full-time in the local league down there. And Shannon Neal was a late out for this team, going up to replace Tom Hawkins in the AFL.
He's kicked a couple of goals as well already, Shannon Neal, in that game. So good for him as we're back in the middle. Fairly overran it, never able to get the hands free. Herbert just puts it on the boot. Awkward half volley for the Bullants defence. Here's Rowan showing the speed that we've known throughout his career. And the kick was delightful to find Caelan Bradkey.
Speed, vision and execution. That's the quality of Gary Rowan right there.
I've seen it over almost 15 years now. First at the Swans and in more recent times at Geelong. Just 8 games away from 200 AFL games is Gary Rowan.
Now on track to be one of the very few players to play over 100 games for two clubs.
As Caelan Bradkey lines up. He's got 2 goals straight for the season. Spent last year on the Richmond AFL list, and that one's just faded late to the left-hand side as the Cats move to 2-2-14, leading the Bullants one behind.
So to be brought back in by Sam Hayes. Long high kick out to the wing. Got good purchase on it. Romelli Otis, great mark. Defensive side of the wing, judged it nicely. Needs to find a target. There's nothing there, so he decides to hug the boundary line, and that's a beautiful kick again to Will Elliott. Of course, the son of the former Test player, Matty Elliott. And he swings around and drives it inside 50. Looking for Jorgensen! Oh, didn't have enough, said the umpire. I thought he nearly did. Bustling in again, trying to get through there was Velasaris. Jeez, I reckon he had enough purchase on that.
I reckon there's a few hundred here that agree with you.
So toss up inside 50. Jorgensen with the tap. Humphreys fed it out the back. Checker, dangerous handball. Snap towards goal. They've got the goalkeeper there for the McCormick kick. It'll be cleared for Geelong to the outer side. Beautiful kick taken by Ballantyne.
Playing his first game as a Cat. Willis not quite able to hang on. He's got a bit of a problem now. Plenty of red jumpers around this footy. Velasaris went to ground and now the Cats can escape. Corridor handball was a little bit wonky. And the pressure from the Ants is good.
So Northern Bullants made 5 changes from round 1. Mason Goodman, as you mentioned, Isaac McMillan, both on debut along with Lucas Edmonds. 3 debutants, which we'll tell you about in a minute.
Yep,
it's a free kick
Free kick off the ball, going to Murray. Off to Herbert. Stevens, the birthday boy, running through the centre square. Foster the target, can't bring it in. The Ants having to defend here, but not doing it as well as they possibly could, and Nevitt makes them pay.
Yeah,
First 3 of the game, Geelong.
Just tried to sneak it on the outside of the boot there. And, well, it would have been good if it just got over Nevitt because they were away, but unfortunately for them, Mitch turned around, saw it, and nonchalantly finished it off. So, yeah, for the Bullants, Mason Goodman, you mentioned, 186 centimetres from the Essendon Duda Stars, 19 years old. Isaac McMillan, 24-year-old from Bundoora, originally from Yarrawonga. And Lucas Edmonds, 176 centimetres from down the road at Maribyrnong Park. Tristan Wack making his debut for the Bullants after crossing from Box Hill via Williamstown in the off-season. And Sam Hayes, as we mentioned, into the team, playing at fullback as well. So umpire Nick Scott puts it on the ground. Nicely done by Conway. Was he being held there, Hardy? Umpire said no, or Closey. And it'll be thrown up. That's right the first time, Mitch Hardy. Now Conway's going to be a big presence. He wins another tap. That might be a push in the back here. Just a little bit clumsy from Marcus Herbert. Hands the free kick up to Velasaris. Best and fairest winner, made the state squad. Showing just how far he came last season. His short pass found William Wallace. And he will send it down towards half forward. And, well, he's looking dangerous already, Jorgensen. Holds on to this one. Too far out to score on this occasion. Thumps it in towards full forward. Elliott's the target. Was he pushed out? Romeliotis marked it anyway. And Big John to Big John. In fact, the free kick was paid for the push out first, so it will be Will Elliott who will take the shot at goal from 20 metres out straight in front. So they worked that well, the Bullants. They just need young Will Elliott to finish. Made his debut in round 1 against North Melbourne. Come from Baldwin via the Oakley Chargers. 202 centimetres. Nice kicking action, nice kicking result too. Northern Bullants have their first goal of the game. They cut the margin to 13 points. Will Elliott on the board with his first goal in VFL footy.
And one of the Ants' biggest problems last year was a lack of height. Big forwards really got a hold of them. We can see that was certainly a point of emphasis over the off-season. Will Elliott, 202 centimetres. Jorgensen, 198. They've added a couple of bigger boys down back as well. So extra height is going to help them be much more competitive, and in those pack marking situations, they'll be able to get it to ground and maybe even force some free kicks as well.
The 5 outs for the Bullants from last game. Lucas Green with a quad injury. Kobe Brown, Josh Buchanan, Sam Donegan, and Tyson Pickett, brother of Marlon, were omitted.
And here's one of those new tools. Williams in the ruck. Couldn't get a hand on this one, as the umpire says we'll throw it up again. Ruck's tangle. Conway's tap work terrific. Mullen is set upon but taken high by Fairley. So clearance will go the Cats' way. Started the season in the AFL side, did Mullen. Now they're inside 50. It's one-on-one forward of the ball. Mark almost taken in the end by McMillan. Over the top of it is Murray. And he's had long enough. So the Ants defence holding up. Hamilton, 28 disposals in his first game as an Ant against his former side, to El Hawley. One of their better ball users. They like it in his hands, and, well, that's why. Able to get the kick on the 45 going to McMillan, but not a lot going on further inside, so he has to go back out. Shipping it around the Ants. Here's Edmonds. The Maribyrnong Park Lion. Of course, playing under Brodie Holland this year at Maribyrnong Park. So a little bit of synergy there. Ball spills to the back. Murdoch under pressure. So too Mullen. Able to get boots a ball, and it might just open up here for the Cats, but good work by the Ants to just hold things up momentarily. Hardy the mid-season recruit from last year. Murray misses the mark by hand, and Wall able to affect the turnover. Plays the 1-2-3, but again, the Cats, they set up so well behind the ball and are able to put an end to that forward momentum as Humphreys marks and goes inside for Jekka.
Jekka will drive it towards half forward. Nice kick to Manor on a long lead. Swings around to 60. Brilliant kick. Well, it would have been brilliant if not for the hands of Hayes, who just reached up and plucked it before it was going to land on the chest of Rowan. And they'll come away now through Wall, who received from Mantis. Puts it down to the wing. Mullen will pick this off. And, well, he's almost lucky that it wasn't a split second later and it would have been 50. Mullen kicks into the pocket and Hayes picks off another one. Well done. That was the big fella, Max Johnson, who got across there. Well done. Undersized ruckman at 196. He'll battle hard against the 208 centimetres of Toby Conway, but so a break even to be a good result. And he should get a free kick there too. The umpire says play on. Clearing kick from Mantis will be chopped off by Willis at half forward for Geelong.
Anyone who understands how those ruck contests work is lying, I think, as Willis just sets it up to the pack. Mark not taken in the end by Wallace. Hammered out of defence, and Willis will get another go at it. Kick and a half from goal. Just pokes it short to Closey. Tackling machine. 5.5 off them per game to start the season. Averaged about 7 last year. That's a real dangerous kick, and he's pinpointed a target in Hardy. The Ants just caught napping there in defence.
It's just those little things, isn't it, that they've got to work on, and that'll come. That'll come. Remember, it is basically a new team. If you run through the side just off the top of your head, which I'll do at quarter time, how many players who are at this club this year who weren't here last year? There's a lot.
It's a very young side, the Ants, and this is an inexperienced but mature age recruit in Mitch Hardy, and he's able to drill it from directly in front. So 4 of the first 5 goals to Geelong. They've made a good start under immense pressure from the Ants.
So there's 15 in today's team alone who weren't here last year.
Jeez.
So it's a big turnover of players for the Northern Bullants, and it is going to take time for them to gel.
Yep.
Especially under the new coach, Rowan Welsh, who brings plenty of experience at the highest levels of football to this position. They are confident of a much improved season, and they did keep hold of a lot of their major players from last year too. Velasaris. Liam Mackey hardly played last year due to injury, so he's almost a recruit as well. As the free kick is paid here to Conway for high contact. He kicks inside 50. Good pick up there by Franks. And away they'll come from defence. Stepping around there was Hayes. Not the best of handballs. Hardy gave it off to Ballantyne. Kicks it into the pocket. Rowan protected the fall of the ball beautifully. And you wouldn't rule him out from here.
Yep, just veteran experience and guile there to know where the ball was going to drop and use his body to protect that spot. Really clever mark, and as he said, Brendan, certainly not beyond him.
He's played just 2 VFL games for Geelong last year when he was coming back from injury. Played 24 in the NEFL for the Swans early on in his career, so he hasn't spent a lot of time at the state league level. And that is just across the face. And through for one behind. Geelong stretch the lead out to 20 points at the 24-minute mark.
Ball to be brought back into play by Mackey. Playing his 50th game today. And their best kick as well. Short to King. His co-captain, who sends it long on the outer side. Conway just too big. Off to Mullen. Searing ball into the pocket. Ants with numbers. Hayes, Velasaris. And they get out of danger. Wall. Played a game for the Casey Demons back in 2022, but looking to become a more permanent fixture in this Bullants lineup. Long to a contest, off the hands of Jekker. There can be dangerous here. Edmonds gets out of trouble. Just needed to hit Goodman by hand, and he just couldn't quite do so. And a once promising attack comes to naught as Rowan sees the ball out of play.
I think Goodman went with one hand there and let it get through. There was nothing wrong with the handball. He might have just got a fraction ahead of himself with the eyes getting big and the open goal in front of him.
They wouldn't have caught him, I'll tell you that much.
And that'll come with experience. As Conway worked out of it there by Johnson, but the ball came back to Big Toby. He'll chip it inboard. Nicely intercepted, however, by Josh Hamilton. Played a couple of games for North Melbourne last year. Hamilton goes short, and he'll get the 1-2 through the hands of Franks. Almost worried out of it there by Tanner Lewis, the late inclusion, and it was illegal. It's a downfield free kick. Just bumped him in the back after he got rid of the footy.
They get a break there because the Cats had 2-0 on there, and we're going to take it away.
Ethan Mantis has a man sweeping around the outer side, and that's McMillan. One of the 3 debutants today. Puts it inside 50, knocked down there for Geelong. That was by Murdoch. And the defence manages to ferret towards and eventually over the line. Around the grounds, half-time at Arden Street. North Melbourne 8-2-50 leading Brisbane Lions 5-12-42 late in the first quarter. Carlton and Collingwood locked away at 2-3-15 apiece.
If they can scramble a goal here before quarter time, it would do their confidence a world of good, as trying something unbelievable from the pocket and finishing it off.
Paddy Fairley.
Paddy Fairley, 46 disposals and 2 goals in round 1, and, well, add a Smithy snag to his register for the season.
Well, I just looked at his numbers and saw he'd only had 2 handballs before that. I was about to make the comment. Thankfully, I held off because that was outstanding from the scoreboard pocket.
Unbelievable finish. I'm not even sure how it's physically possible from there, but Paddy Fairley made it happen.
What a wonderful goal that is. And just what the Bullants needed and deserved. They've worked hard in this first quarter. The Cats, however, have taken the opportunities presented to them. 14 points the margin. As umpire Nick Scott gets us underway again. Conway knocked it down. Nevitt. High kick should be picked off by El Hawley. Mark was just spoiled there for Geelong. Conway got it up to Wiltshire, who kicks inside 50. Manor tried to predict the fall, couldn't take the mark. Hand pass came up. Now trying to work his way through. There was Herbert. He got dragged down. Did he have the footy? Umpire said, my ball. He'll be tossed up about 35 metres out from the Geelong goal. Won by the Cats eventually to Manor, who goes back towards the goal square. The mark is intercepted nicely. El Hawley will receive from McMillan, who brings it out towards halfback. Mackie couldn't quite take the mark. Could have got a free kick there. Wack tries to keep it in play. Willis forced it back. Dispossessed was Will Wallace as the siren sounds on a shortish quarter, that one, just under 29 minutes for the first term, but a good quarter of football both ways. Geelong with the opportunities taken, holding a 14-point lead at the break. They're 4-3-27, leading the Northern Bullants 2-1. Hughes, Checker and Nevitt with 5 for the Bullants. Josh Hamilton has had 7 touches. Liam Mackey with 6. Sean-Luke Belisara 6. And Wal with 5 as well. Here's Michael Peppicelli for the second quarter.
They're in this contest, the Ants, that's for sure, against 15 AFL-listed Cats. Not to mention a Geelong VFL side that has yet to put its name in the win column for season 2024. Nevitt will clear. Willis the target, thumped away from him by Mantis. El Hawley gets the hands free to Fairley, who kicked an unbelievable goal in the opening term. As the Ants work it out of danger, Fairley called to go. Doesn't have much on offer, but able to find a target up the line in Goodman. Young man from Essendon, due to Stars. His kick's cut off by Caperon. Looking corridor, and he's got a couple of options. Stevens, one of them. Edmonds is on the broadcast wing, and that's the next option. Played every game for the Giants last year in this competition. King standing in the way there of Manna, able to take an important relieving mark. Tries to pinpoint Mackie, but Edmonds is there.
So this is Darcy Edmonds. Played every game for the Giants last year and has made a mess of that. Really good defence by Velasaris. Breakout season last year for the Ants. Best and fairest winner. He took his opportunity to play midfield after being, I suppose, camped in the forward pocket for the first 40-odd games of his career. Conway works his way to the front and was held, so he'll get the free kick. Advantage won't be paid. So it'll come back to Big Toby. Absolutely dominated in round one against his brother, Sam, actually, in the Werribee game. That got him into the AFL team, but when Reece Stanley had a rest, but Stanley playing his 200. Oh, Willis! James Willis! He's touched the top of the goalpost before he marked that. Unbelievable fly. I'm speechless.
Yep.
Absolutely speechless.
That was something else.
Willis, can he finish it off? Oh no. Oh, what a letdown. James Willis. Springs in his heels.
Well, you'll see plenty of that mark all over the socials and on the VFL page and AFL.com.au and the AFL Live official app. Mackie brings it back into play. Jorgensen the target, but the kick too wide. Was it touched? Yep, he got a hand on it. So 15 points as everyone just sort of gathers their collective breath after that.
Wow.
Plenty of footy still left in this one. Conway wrestling with Johnson. The former got the hit out. Hardy. Conway on the gather. Holding free. He's going to go to the Cats, and it's going to be play on advantage. Mullen could almost go for the home from here. Instead gives off the handball to Willis. Edmonds. Good pressure from the Ants defence. No whistle. Willis goes in again. Rowan now charged with laying the tackle and does just that. Conway is up to 10 disposals, most on the ground. He's all the better for that AFL experience on Easter Monday against the Hawks. Now Hawley farms it out, and the Ants out of danger. This is Franks. Kick partially smothered. Murdoch called to play on. Little pressure on the kick, and a one-handed pluck from Mantis.
Started pretty well, Ethan Mantis, hasn't he?
Yep. Both clubs trading highlight marks in the early stages of this second term. No one got a hand on it in the end. Humphreys just gathered and was able to do what he liked. Buse has Willis on a searching lead, and he drops the simple mark, and then he's caught. The Ants' endeavour's terrific.
And this is El Hawley. Made the tackle and then put the kick out a little bit too wide there for Goodman. And gets away from him and out of play. Still trying to catch my breath. I'm sure James Willis is as well. As we see Johnson looking up at Toby Conway. You can see the difference right there in the size of the two. And well done, Johnson. Won that tap. Hand pass flicked out by Ballantyne. Wrapped up at the base of the pack. There was Herbert. He's had a really good start to the season for the Cats. VFL listed player. Johnson won it again. Kick off the ground by Fairley. Goes towards half forward. Now charging through. Velasaris has a bounce. Can go to 45 and drill towards goal. Just off hands. The Cavalry got back and Lawson Humphreys managed to knock it down to save the goal.
He is a goal kicker, Velasaris. 10 goals, 10 last season. The Cats have already worked it up to centre wing, but that's as far as they'll get as Mantis cuts it off. Dangerous corridor ball gets to King. The Cats well set up behind this footy. Hayes sets it up too high. And a chance for Geelong to effect a turnover, but Hayes makes amends and drives them into attack. Over the head of Franks. Jacobs gets onto it. Crosby's there as well. And yep, Franks is going to take the free.
And his head down to pick the ball up rather than ducking for the tackle was the call from the milestone man, Andrew Talbot.
So we'll kick from about 45. Caleb Franks. Yet to kick a goal as an Ant out of the Brisbane Lions Academy and the Maroochydore and Redland Footy Club in Queensland. It's high. It's not going to have the journey, but Jorgensen's got it. And he slams it through.
Well, if you're going to miss kick a ball at goal, you might as well hang it up and give the big bloke a chance to have a run at it.
Yep.
There's a bit going on down in the goal square here between Jorgensen and Jecker. I don't think Emerson was too happy about being outmarked so simply. Or more to the point, Big John might have been asking him where he was.
Gave him a pat on the head as well.
It always goes down well, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Well, they're back to 8 points here, the Northern Bullants. Playing some good footy. Brisbane Lions have taken the lead at Arden Street, 6:15.51 to 8:2.50, would you believe? As Toby Conway won the tap down. It'll be taken by the flying Willis out of the centre towards half forward. Hayes came in with a big fist, knocked it down. Ooh. Oh, that was cute by Wallace. Put his teammate under pressure. Conway's mark was spoiled. Herbert got it up to Humphreys. Sends it back inside 50. Should be picked off here. Good mark by Wallace.
Makes amends for his previous effort, which made life difficult for his teammates. Hamilton, Velasaris able to juggle. The outer side's opening up, but Velasaris is going to stay a little bit more conservative. Wallace. Hamilton, the runner, confronted by Manor. Knew he had Wallace backwards, and that's another dangerous ball. Playing with fire here, the Ants. Velasaris knew he had King in support. And he's got Romeliotis on his own. If the ball stays in, it does. So well done by the Ants to get themselves out of danger, and now they can attack. Mackie takes a bounce, not known for his speed. Wobbly looking ball though. Straight to Mullen. And the Cats can rebound.
That was it, trying to go at that top speed that he's not known for, and that's what affected the kick, I think. As the switch is on through Jecker to Murdoch. Now Hardy, and will bring it back inboard to Buse. Good names in that group. Jed Buse has Checker wrapping around for the handball. Drives it long down towards the wing. Good use of the body there by Tanner Lewis, the late inclusion. Can he pick it up and go? He does. Gives the hand pass inboard to Ballantyne. Sizes it up towards full forward. Foster flies. Couldn't take the mark. Hand pass down from McMillan to Velasaris. Chips it out to half back. And a nice mark at the bootlaces by Fairley.
Now it's the Ants' turn to play it slow and maintain possession for a moment. Jorgensen the target up the line. Off hands. Edmonds involved. Jecker overran it. Franks dispossessed and Conway comes away with it. Made it difficult for Hardy, but he's a bull. Is Hardy, wins it back. Conway in there as well. Humphreys just rolls a little ball forward. Big contact. But it was all clean and we'll throw it in. About 60 around from goal for the Cats. They lead it by 8 points in the early going. Bullants with the only goal of this second term thus far. That came from John Jorgensen. Conway wins the hit out. Big pack of players around this ball, and it's not coming out.
So, questions being asked of Geelong right now. It's been a while since they've kicked a goal. As Conway gets taken to ground. Closey got it across, and inside 50 went Stevens. Chance now for Geelong, and they'll get that shot at goal because Wallace went a bit high. And it'll be a free kick to the Cats to be taken by Tanner Lewis, the late inclusion. Got his chance, of course, with Shannon Neal being called into the Geelong AFL team to replace Tom Hawkins. He's kicked 3 goals in 5 games. This is his first one of the season. 21-year-old from the Geelong West Giants. And from 30 metres out, he poked at it, and that's all he needed to do. The goal umpire didn't have to move, and the Cats get their first goal of the second quarter. They're 5-4-34, Bullants 3-2-20.
So they get a little bit of a steadier, the Cats, because the Ants have certainly been coming at them.
And you can tell that the Geelong AFL team is playing at the same time by the noise after that goal. You could have heard a pin drop.
That's right, not a big Geelong crowd here today, as you might expect, with the AFL side currently doing battle at home.
Around the grounds, Carlton 4-4-28, leading Collingwood 4-3-27, North Melbourne 9-3-57, Brisbane Lions 6-15-51.
The Ants, the only standalone side in action today, and they're taking it right up to Geelong as Conway wins it down. Hardy had some open space to exit the stoppage and finds Murray at half forward, wheels and goes. Wallace, though, intervenes. It's been impressive so far, Wallace.
They're defending very well, aren't they, the Bullants?
They've been under pressure at different stages, and they're going to be faced with pressure once again. Good smother from Willis, it was. In fact, Wiltshire.
Quality work by Ollie Wiltshire with 2 to beat back there. As the ball is brought back into play by Hayes, drove it up to the wing, fisted down. Tristan Wack will get back there first. Gave it off to Jacobs, who brought it into the middle. Mullen made the spoil. Tap to advantage by Herbert. Ran to 52. Drove towards goal. Foster, strong hands. Couldn't drag it down. Well done by Hayes. And then Stacks on the mill. Wallace got hold of him at the back and ensured a ball up. Right next to the behind post. Cats by 15 points. Desperately keen to hold it out, and they're able to get it through for a rush behind the Bullants there. So the margin goes to 16 in favour of Geelong.
Good result for the Ants as Hayes finds El Hawley. Plenty of the ball in that round 1 defeat to North Melbourne. 32 touches for Saad El Hawley. Long up the line from King. Elliott the tall target, but coming in from the side is Humphreys. One of the smallest men in that pack, and he goes straight into the centre for Hardy. Has White. He'll get it back from Jacker. Foster on short, wants to go further. The kick well out in front of Brad Key and harmlessly over the line.
I tell you what, Cats fans, and if you're watching back there in Western Australia as Humphreys fans, I reckon in a game and a half that I've seen so far, I didn't see round 2, but I reckon Stephen Wells and Andrew Mackey may have found another one here.
He was pretty good a couple of weeks ago, the leading ball winner against Box Hill. They led that game by 2 goals at three-quarter time, but Box Hill ran over the top of them. 8 goals in the final term to prevail by 34 points. It was a similar story in round 1. Close at three-quarter time, but then Werribee outscored the Cats heavily.
7-1, I think it was.
Yeah, that
in round
sounds
1.
about right. Quarter number 4.
Yeah, very similar against the Hawks.
Yep. As we just had a short break in play while Mitch Hardy got checked out by the trainer, but he's all good to go. And we'll get a repeat stoppage as Lewis is wrapped up. He's having a turn in the ruck, opposed to Romeliotis. Herbert. Ball knocked free in the tackle. Stevens is a bull. Pushed off at his whack. Opens the door for the Cats. Oh. Stevens, heavy contact. Herbert is still down. Play goes on. Ants under immense pressure, but maybe it opens up. Franks couldn't quite be clean, but he was pushed in the back. And Herbert still in trouble, being looked at by the trainers, but Franks will send it out wide, and the Ants will keep going.
I think that'll be looked at, unfortunately, on Big John. As the Ants come away on the outer wing, El Hawley's going to get dragged down, but he shrugged the tackle and got up again. Whack. Gave it across to Tome, who kicks towards half forward. Not the best of kicks. Half volley. Great tackle. Well, Murdoch thought he got the handball. The umpire said no, he didn't. And it's Jared Crosby with a wonderful chase down, and his pass across the half forward line found Paddy Fairley, who we've already seen kick a wonderful snap. Let's see how he goes on the set shot. Well, big moments happening in this game already. Paddy Fairley. We've seen a goal of the year contender. We've seen a mark of the year that will be almost impossible to beat. And now we see Paddy Fairley kick a wonderful goal from 50. Second goal for Paddy Fairley, and the margin back to single digits again. He's a good footballer.
Certainly is, and a fantastic finish in his second season with the Ants after crossing over from the Sandful. Just a quick update on Marcus Herbert. Saw him come off the ground in the hands of a couple of trainers. He was able to walk under his own weight, though, which is a good sign, but I'm sure we probably won't be seeing him for the rest of the day. He'll most likely be assessed for a head injury and so on. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and we wish him all the best.
Big hit, and as I said, we'll wait and see. Although I did call one of those a couple of weeks ago and nothing came out of it, so the Bullants will be hoping that I'm wrong again.
Certainly will. Back in the middle, Conway. Still going, Conway, and that's high contact. This time on Edmonds. Call to play on. Ball skews off the side of the boot, gives Humphreys a lot of work to do, and out of bounds might be a good result. 9-point game, 2-1 in favour of the Ants in this second term. If you just joined us, the Cats led it by 14 at the first break. We're almost into time on in quarter number 2, and well, we were promised a more competitive Northern Bullants in season 2024, and through almost 6 quarters, that's what we've got so far against 2 AFL teams. So they go inside 50 again, the Cats, and Wiltshire, who it's plucked from obscurity, really. Bowen heads. Might be another Stephen Wells special. Looks a little bit unsure, though. Kicked upwards of 50 goals for Bowen heads last year, and finds himself on the Geelong AFL list. He almost got it all the way. Manor, ever the opportunist.
Absolutely brilliant from Sean Manor.
That's what he does best. Can conjure a goal out of absolutely nothing.
I don't know if anyone else on the ground could have done that. To charge in at full pace, get the ball, stop on a dime, and put it almost backwards off the outside of his foot for a goal in one motion.
Yep. Followers of the Smithies VFL, so happy to see Sean Manor finally get his AFL opportunity last year. Pick 36, I think it was, in last year's draft, after just really a ridiculous season last year for Werribee. And of course, everyone knows about that grand final performance, but the thing is, Jonty, he did that a few times during the home and away as well.
He did. He kicked 7 in a game earlier in the year. Yep. Finished with 40 goals for the season on the wing, which I think was good enough for about 5th in the Frosty Miller medal. An amazing season, an amazing player. As Fairley got the hand pass off to Velasaris, kicks to half forward, lovely pass. Got it into the hands of Goodman. Might be a fraction too far out to score. He sees the lead in the pocket of Elliott. Terrific footy by the Bullants. And Will Elliott takes a wonderful mark in the pocket.
Well, we mentioned the young height that they've recruited. This guy is the main linchpin of that, and you just see the potential being able to go up and take a mark like that.
He's about 35 metres out from goal, about 7 or 8 in from the boundary line. The City pocket, the Railway side. Nice looking kick off the boot. Has it holding the line? It's across the face. And just through for one behind. 1 goal, 1 for Will Elliott. The Bullants with the margin to 14.
Ball brought back into play for the Cats from Buse. Foster
Clever.
gets a fist on it, and I'm not sure he meant it, but it'll work either way. Closey puts it into space for the speedster in Willis, but McMillan's got some pace of his own. Needs to get rid of it. Does just that. Hamilton under pressure. Manor confronts him. Mackie provides support. They've got him. Herbert back out there, which is good to see. And he'll get a shot at goal.
I thought there was a hint of high on that one, but Phoenix Foster, I'll give him that. That was very much deliberate. He took one look at the Cats player on his own and thumped it back over his head straight to him. Brilliant footy.
Great to see Marcus Herbert back out there after a heavy knock about 5 minutes ago, almost in this exact spot. He'll run around and kick it straight into the man on the mark. Ricochets to Fairley. Still under pressure, the Ants. And the Cats are able to lock it in.
Yeah, good smother there. Geelong did lock it in, but it was a shot at goal denied as Johnson did well in the ruck against Conway. Now he's over top of the football. He's trying to bustle his way out of there. And that's a good decision not to penalise him for that, because he was really trying to make the play, Max Johnson. Second gamer, 22 years of age from West Preston Lakeside, as the ball tumbles towards the line. Lewis couldn't get there. Nevitt tries to do a Gary Ablett senior, can't quite. And it's a try to Ethan Mantis, which equals 1 point to Geelong.
Crucial 5 or 10 minutes to close out the opening half. A goal or two either way would really change things going into the main break as Mackie pinpoints El Hawley, and just like that, the answer away. Caught in two minds momentarily. El Hawley will get it back from Fairley, and he's working the corridor now. Wobbly kick gets to Velasaris. He's claimed immediately. Ball spills free. Ants trying to work it forward. Edmonds through traffic. Able to find a teammate. Dispossessed and didn't get rid of it properly, so the Cats can now go the other way. Manners one-on-one. Watch out, Mantis, because Manners got the mark.
And he would have been $1.01 to take that mark, I think. And again, no disrespect there to Ethan Mantis, but Sean Manor had the sit, had the positioning, and was always going to be impossible to stop there.
Yep. Even though he's not a tall man, he uses his body very well in the one-on-one contest, and this is what made him so dangerous at Werribee last year. Not only can he get 30 touches playing in the midfield, but he can go forward and kick goals as well. Kicked one earlier this term. Sean Manor skips in and just misses.
Heading towards the 25-minute mark of the second quarter, as Mackie changes his mind a couple of times, but then makes the right decision to Hamilton. Still inside defensive 50. He'll chisel a kick short and find Edmonds. This is Lucas Edmonds. Wants to go. Sets it up down towards the wing. Conway should pick this off, and that's a terrific mark in the middle of the pack. Just too tall. Gives it down to Jekka. Twinkle toes. Got around the first one, then head to handball. You're going to be gone! Crosby's done it again. That is two brilliant chase down tackles from Jared Crosby in the space of about 7 minutes. And Rowan Welsh will be loving to see that. But not so much that, as Conway takes the intercept mark.
Moves it on quickly to Ballantyne. Ants have plenty of representation here, but Manor was held. So he's going to go from 50, drives it towards goal. It's going to get there. It was never in doubt with the ball in Sean Manor's hands.
So it was a downfield free kick.
Downfield, was it?
Interestingly paid against Jared Crosby, who, strangely enough, he went in for the smother and he slipped. And as he went down, just slipped over as he went down, he collected the legs of the Geelong player who'd kicked the football. So that was what the whistle was, and Manor very quickly onto the action and finished off beautifully, as you expect.
Yep, you don't have to ask him twice. And that's 2 goals, 1 now for the quarter for Manor after a quiet-ish opening term.
And they've snuck out by 23 points now, Geelong. So the Ants will be desperate to pinch one back before half-time, just to stay in touch. Umpire Scott with a lovely bounce. Conway with the tap, Johnson with the footy. Knocked it down to Tome, who kicks the high ball inside 50. Capper will pick it off comfortably for Geelong. Plays onto the outer side to Buse, who is building up a bank of fitness now as he strives to win his AFL spot back. He'll send the kick long, down towards the wing, over the back. Lewis made the spoil for Geelong. Good hand pass out the back. Closey slips over at the inopportune time, but has time to recover. Spearing kick inside 50. Foster dropped the mark at his knees. Manor's there. Can he get it out? He got it to Hardy. Up now towards the path of Murray. Kicked 6 goals in his first 2 games, Murray, but he's lost it on this occasion. Velasaris to McMillan, up to the wing. And a free kick going to be picked out here. It's going to come back to Elliott.
Just need to steady the Ants. Geelong has owned the last 10 or so minutes. They trail by 23 points. High ball. Conway went up unopposed in the end and decided to play on. Herbert, not the best handball, put some pressure on White, but he was good enough to get out of danger. And now the Cats can look to build. Short ball from Edmonds back to White. Playing his first game of the season. Herbert. Now Humphreys. Noted for his ball use, Lawson Humphreys. And he's able to find Stevens in the corridor. Now can they get moving? Ball put into space for Edmonds. Gets the kind bounce. Fairly in pursuit, but won't get him. And now Hardy has it. Just inside the paint. Kick partially smothered. Manor tried to get rid of the tackler. Got the handball away instead. And a siren will beat Capper shot at goal. And at the main break, it's Geelong 7-8-50 leading the Bullants 4-3-27. And Elliott's going to spend some time in the ruck. Up against Toby Conway, who's had the most disposals of anyone out there. 15 touches for him. Emerging with it is Franks. Gets it on the boot. Bouncing ball. Fairly had it punched away. Going in again is Mason Goodman. Misses the mark by hand. Edmonds. Inboard for Nevitt. That's fraught with danger, but they'll get out of trouble. But not for long. Matt King takes the one-on-one mark. Doesn't have a lot of movement ahead, so he just bombs it long. Crosby at the back with the fly. Won't bring it in. Hands were good. Romeliotis wrapped up. But a good start from the Ants. They've got it inside their forward 50. They trail it by 23.
Tap by Conway, gets it out into open space. Crosby tries to go through, or was it Franks, in fact? But it'll be Jecker. His kick was smothered partially. Humphreys. Handball to Murdoch. Managed to just get away from his tackler. But the ball went out of play, and that's good forward defence from the Northern Bullants. 90 seconds into the third quarter. If they can get this opening goal, it'll certainly lift everybody here at Genesee Oval, the old anthill. Front spot, Romelli Otis won it down and then laid the tackle to ensure it'll be a ball up. Go around the ground shortly, but as Conway got it down, Romelli Otis's kick flies off the outside of the boot. And, well, the chivalrous husband just cost his partner a mark in the stands.
Hardy's going to bring it back into play. Short lead offered by Mullen, and the kick finds him. Hardy gets it back. Calling for it long is Murdoch. He's got the sit here over Crosby. Crosby did well enough just to disrupt Murdoch's timing. Edmonds keeps it alive. That was clever. Jacker, Nevitt through traffic. Smothered. Goodman, classy pickup as well. They might have found one here. The Ants, he's been good on debut, Mason Goodman. Ball gathered by Hamilton. Just drives it long. Jorgensen, the target, gets over his head though. And Velasaris won't be able to catch up to it. 15 touches for Conway. Hardy 14. Mullen also 14. For the Ants, Fairley 13. Hamilton 12. Velasaris also with 12. As the ball's tossed back in. Front position, Jorgensen. Not going anywhere. He's Franks on that occasion. Third term has been played inside the Ants forward 50 thus far. Calls for holding the ball unheard by the umpire. So we'll throw it up again. 3.5 minutes in. Humphreys had it for a moment, then lost it. Goodman bouncing ball towards goal is wide and out of bounds.
So still locked into the forward 50 for the Bullants. They need to find a way to get it through the goals. Conway got to the front spot, and that's a little bit crude from Caleb Franks, and that'll be the pressure release that Geelong need through the agency of Caperon. Heading towards 100 games at this level. This is number 80 for Dan Caperon, now captain of Geelong. Hardy coming out of the back pocket. Rowan flies, couldn't drag it down on this occasion. Get it out the back. Caperon, hand pass over the top. Is it Herbert, in fact? And the ball is out of play. Right in front of our broadcast position. The final score has just landed at Arden Street, and as tipped, I'm going to claim it, as tipped, North Melbourne have beaten the Brisbane Lions by 1 point.
Elliott dispossessed. That takes North Melbourne to a couple of wins to start the season. Buse over the head of Foster. El Hawley. Hamilton. Former Kangaroo. King goes wide. Back to El Hawley. Inboard kick is good for Franks. Has Mantis running by. Gives it to him. Looking for, but not quite finding Crosby. But the Ants have got a boundary throw in a good spot.
Yeah, I might have tipped North by 1 point, Pep, but I reckon Brisbane will be going home pretty dirty. The final score, North Melbourne 12-4-76. Brisbane Lions 9-21-75.
Wow. And, well, Arnold Street not too far from here. It's not particularly windy here. Can't imagine it would be there either. As we get another ball up. Ants into attack. They need to turn this territory dominance into scoreboard dominance, though. And they haven't been able to do that just yet. This Geelong back line, very hard to crack. Ball spills to the back. Closey. King. Elliott. And now El Hawley. Can he pick out a target? It's a long ball. Conway's back. Ends up with Fairley looking for number 3, but just scrapes in for a behind.
Can't work more than one miracle just yet. No, I'm not going to say there won't be another one. Bullants need a goal here. They've dominated the first 7 minutes of this third quarter. It's Humphreys. Pops it short to Mullen. Wanted to come inboard to Herbert and then thought better of it. Heard the voice out on the wing coming from Todd White, but the kick was just over his head and out of play. One of the debutants today, Todd White. 1 for Geelong and 3 for the Northern Bullants, playing their first VFL games. 2 sixes in the ruck. Will Elliott having a go against Toby Conway now. Conway reached around and won it down. Good work here by Goodman, who's battled hard. It's been probably an almost game for him so far, hasn't it?
Yep.
A couple of inches away from doing something special on half a dozen occasions. There's a little kick out of mid-air from that player, Goodman. Caperon charges off half-back, gave it to Stevens. Spent before he got it, but was good enough to recover. There was the Cats player in Nevitt. Sends it to half-forward, but that little fumble created the turnover. Wallace to El Hawley, and the Bullants can rebuild from half-back.
Go backwards for Jacobs. Mantis, and now the full switch is on for McMillan. Cut off by the late inclusion, Lewis. And he's got Manor on his own, who curiously plays on, trying to work magic in a phone booth. Can't quite do so. And the Ants get out of jail on this occasion. Jacobs has El Hawley in support. Now he's run into trouble himself, but able to get out of it. Well done, Sard El Hawley, but he ran too far.
You could see it coming. The umpire had the whistle to the mouth a good 4 or 5 strides before he blew it. I know, I'm pretty sure that Sean Manor had no idea that those 2 Bullants were there.
Ballantyne's ball high. Ants with numbers.
A
couple of defenders spoil each other, and Foster can't quite finish.
Yeah, lack of talk there almost cost them a goal, the Northern Bullants, and that would have been a hammer blow after how well they've started this quarter without getting a goal. Ball driven back into play by King. Just gets over the head of Elliott, but it fell back to him. He goes high. Rainmaker. Nevitt makes the spoil. Mullen sweeps him from the front. And past Chain. A little bit high for Nevitt, but he's good enough to get it back. Sends the kick towards full forward. Charging out Rowan. He handballed it straight to his opposite number in Wallace. Gave it off to Hamilton. Flips it out wide and finds Wall. Wall. Deep in the back pocket for the Northern Bullants. Pops it up towards the wing. Jorgensen to fly, but standing tall in front of him is the Cats skipper in Caperon. And he's taken some important marks too under the new headband, Dan Caperon. Goes backwards to Buse, and the Cats will go with the switch.
Jekka has it in the middle of the ground. On the non-preferred. Not his best effort, but it does get to Ballantyne in the field of play. Too far out to score for him, so he sets it up. Rowan's there. Punched away from him, and the Ants with plenty of numbers on the ground, but it's going to be difficult to get it out of defensive 50. Not a lot to go to, so they work it by hand. Elliott's on in the corridor. They elect to go more expansive. That could be dangerous, but keeping his feet is Goodman. Then went to ground. Jekka joined him. And he might need to get rid of this ball. He could be in trouble. And the umpire says, no, we'll throw it up. So good work by the Ants to avoid turning it over with a quick kick out of defensive 50. Gets them a stoppage at half forward, but the Cats clear comfortably through Stevens. Now Nevitt. Kick off line. Mantis trying to tap it to El Hawley. Working it by hand on the outer side, the Ants. Mackie almost would be within range from there, but he spots up Velasaris instead. That was a perfect chiseling ball. And JL, as he's known in these parts, is going to go back and have a ping.
Yeah, big player for the big moment. He knows how to kick them too, JL. 50 goals in 65 games at this level.
One of their very best players It's a big moment. He's side down by 23 from right on the arc. He's hung it out to the right.
So the margin still at 22 points. Mullen goes short to Humphreys. Back to Buse. Now taken away by Jecker. Up to the wing in the hands of Tobin Murray, who's been quiet today after 6 goals in the first 2 games. And he turns this one over. A very nice mark taken by Jacobs. Out wide to King. Bring it back. The switch is on through Hamilton. Had a good day. Back to Jacobs. Thought about giving it back to Hamilton, and now they're just going around in circles. King to Mackie. 6 disposals. They've gone about 20 metres. Geelong holding them up nicely. Mackie spears it down the wing over the head of El Hawley. Lets it fall out the back. Well done by the big fella in Johnson. Got it out to Velasaris. Hooks it to full forward to Elliott. And that is class from JLV. Excellent kick. And Will Elliott in the perfect position to take the mark right at the kick-off line. He'll line up from 15 metres out straight in front to get the Bullants the goal they so desperately need. He comes in and pops it through for his second. Will Elliott brings the margin back to 16. The answer's still there.
Well, they had to exert a lot of effort, but they finally got the goal they probably deserved, considering the majority of this quarter has been played in their forward 50. Will Elliott getting his second. Fairley's also got a couple for the Ants. Jorgensen has 1. Manor, the only multiple goal kicker for the Cats, with 2. But they're certainly in this. Halfway mark of the third term, 16-point game. Next goal, all important, as Johnson lines up to take on Lewis in the ruck. Maybe they can get an advantage here while Conway's not in the ruck, but they'll get the clearance, the Cats. Stevens, Willis exits the front of the stoppage. He's dangerous from here. That's a good pass for Brad Key. And wouldn't this be deflating for the Ants?
It certainly would. He's been quiet, Caelan Bradkey. Just the one shot on goal earlier on in the game, almost right back at the start. So this would do wonders for his confidence if he can slot this one after being on the end of the kick.
Signed with Bell Park this year, Caelan Bradkey. He'll spend most of his time in this Geelong VFL outfit, you suspect. As good as directly in front, he makes no mistake. And the Cats respond immediately.
Yeah, wonderful finish from Caelan Bradkey. Boy from Corowa Rutherglen. They keep producing them, the Kangaroos, up there, even though they've had to work to, I suppose, keep their own club alive. Had a season off last year. Great to see them back in the ovens and Murray this year, Corowa Rutherglen. 3 convincing defeats so far, but that is completely by the by because they're playing football, which is what you want anywhere, especially out in the country. And Caelan Bradkey is an example of why they need to be around. Andrew Talbot with the footy. As we said, 250 VFL games today. Well and truly the all-time record. He's paid a free kick for a shepherd here. It's going to go in favour of the Bullants. And it will be taken by Maxie Johnson. Velasaris wants the handball. Oh, that was smart by Johnson. He realised just at the last second that Wiltshire had him covered. Kicks inside 50 for Jorgensen. And Big John takes the mark. 45 out straight in front. And he's got wonderful hands today. He needs to go back and finish just to build those spirits up once again. Yeah, Velasaris wanted the handball and he very nearly got it, but Wiltshire probably just arrived in Johnson's vision a split second too early, didn't he?
Yep.
Jorgensen. He's kicked 1-1 so far. From 47 metres out. It's close. It's just the wrong side of the post. 1-2 for JJ. 21 points the margin.
That would have been a team lifter for the Ants. They have to settle for just a behind and a 21-point deficit. They trailed by 23 at the main break. Jekka for Humphreys. Picked 63 in last year's draft. Caperon to White. Pretty stagnant ahead of him. So he's going to go back to Caperon again. And now they'll try the other side with Murdoch. Willis has broken free. If Murdoch sees him in time, and he'll get it to him. Lost control of the ball for a moment, but might just work out. Humphreys. Sizzling ball through the hands of Conway. Hardy's on his own. Working through heavy traffic. Does really well, then loses control of the ball. Still with it. Gets a handball away. Manners kick partially smothered and the Ants out of danger, but not for long. Let's see how the umpire calls this. And it'll be Geelong ball.
Yeah, Kyle Van Ray sweeping the arm there. It's brought back in by Humphreys to Jekka. He's happy to hold it up until something presents. He decides to go long to the contest down the line. Conway got two hands to the footy. Hayes lays the tackle. At the back, that was Wiltshire who wasn't getting away. Johnson and Conway again. Conway with a double tap. Spinning through Wallace. Hand pass out wide. Trying to get clear there was McCormick. His handball was partially smothered. Willis burrows his way through. Did he get a clip over the ear? Umpire said he didn't. There'll be a ball up. 65 out from the Cats' goal. Johnson tried to go for a mid-air and ended up with an air swing. Kick back from Hardy around the corner inside 50. Bradkey crunched the pack and crunched the man in front of him. And slow to get up is Wallace. And he'll suck in the big ones and then he'll be okay.
1 goal each in this third term. Just ticked into time on. If the Ants are going to give themselves a realistic shot at stealing a win here, they're going to have to pull at least 1 or 2 back before three-quarter time, you suspect. And they may just have it in the back of their minds that the Cats have faltered badly in their 2 final quarters to start the season. Jekka dropped the mark, but able to recover. He gets it back, Jekka, but a little fumble. Opens the door for the Ants. Caperon recovers. And able to find Willis. He's got Wiltshire calling for it at half forward, but that's ignored. He's going to go longer. Bradkey at front position is paid.
Yeah, good strong mark that from Caelan Bradkey. Got himself into the right position and there's not much Hayes could have done there.
So with the margin currently sitting at 21, a goal here would make things really difficult for the Ants late in quarter number 3. Not an easy kick though.
Won Richmond's VFL goal kicking last year. 24 goals, Caelan Bradkey.
Kicks from about 40. It's going to be across the face and kept alive Mackie needs to be careful. Did well. And it's coming straight back through Closey.
Ted Closey thumbs it back in the Bradkey direction, or the Foster. Will Hawley couldn't quite take the mark. And it's not coming out. Looking into the sun there, those players trying to take that mark. A little bit tough. Conway and Johnson. Conway won it down. Hardy fed the hand pass out. Stevens stood up in the tackle. Nevitt off one step. High ball inside 50. Closey did a good job. Brought the footy to ground, then won it. Hand pass out the back. Velasaris tried to tap it back into play. Wiltshire's there for Geelong. Mullins in the contest as well. Good football by Herbert there underneath the contest. He's not coming out. The ball does spill briefly, and that's enough to allow the umpire to call for a ball up. About 25 metres out from the Geelong goal as we head towards 23 minutes in the third quarter.
Foster with the reach over Johnson. Manor keeps it alive for Willis. Not quite. And that would have been something. Potentially a mark of the year and goal of the year in the same game for Willis. If he was somehow able to put that one through, but not to be, and it'll be Jacobs to kick it in. Hugs the boundary line, but finds whack. Velasaris. Coming up for disposal, number 16. Mantis now. Late third term. Couple of options, and they communicate well. Dangerous handball, but it'll work out to Fairley. Edmonds has been good today in his first VFL game. Crosby has to make a contest against two and does exactly that. So the Ants able to transition from one end to the other. Not pretty, but somewhat effective. And trailed by 22. If you just joined us, they trailed by 14 at the first break and 23 at half-time. Caperon on his own at the back of the stoppage finds Nevitt. And he's going to go further wide, where he's able to find Buse, and they go inboard again for Closey. And Closey will get it back.
And he does. He goes short to Herbert. Having a breakout season early doors for Geelong is Marcus Herbert. Pops it short. Back to Closey for the third time in this passage. He'll bite off the 45 into the middle of the ground. Caperon, lovely pass inside 50 and gets Darcy Edmonds. And that patience there from Geelong, well and truly on show. You see that a lot at AFL level. Just pass it around and wait for something to open up inside the 50. Darcy Edmonds. He's kicked 4 goals in his 20 games, but they were all in the orange and charcoal. Hasn't got one in the hoops just yet. This is his third game here. He'll kick from on the blue and white paint, and he'll spray it out to the pocket. Fly from the back from Wiltshire. Being tracked by Rowan. Closey came from the other direction. It got to Herbert. Hooks it back towards the danger spot. Bradkey, too tall. The chaos kick back to the danger area, and Caelan Bradkey got himself in the right spot and was just too big for everybody around him. He'll line up for his second goal of this quarter and of the game for Geelong. And this would build it out to a pretty significant margin heading towards three-quarter time. Remembering the first two terms only went for 28 minutes apiece. It's a nice-looking kick. It's a very nice-looking kick indeed. Bradkey gets his second. The Cats lead by 28 with probably a couple of minutes to play before three-quarter time. Around the grounds, Michael, a couple of quick goals late in the third quarter as well for Collingwood. They lead Carlton by 12 points at Icon Park, 8-8-56 to 6-8-44. Repeating earlier today, North Melbourne 12-4-76 over the Brisbane Lions, 9-21-75 by just the 1 point.
Can the Ants pinch one before three-quarter time? To give themselves an opportunity to run over the Cats like Werribee and Box Hill have so far this season. Conway takes it out of the ruck, but Johnson's all over him immediately. Umpire calls play on. Nevitt almost extracted. Goodman trying to do the same, and then somehow Herbert ends up with it. To the one-on-one. Manor! Strong mark. Jacobs defended it perfectly, but Manor's just that good.
That's exactly what he is. He's just that good. I'll tell you what, as you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people in the VFL on the Sean Manor bandwagon. Probably been driving it for about 4 years.
And he'll kick after the siren. Sean Manor. This will be just his 8th disposal, but he's kicking for his 3rd goal from just outside 50. It's got the journey, but it's not online. So it's a 29-point ball game heading into the final change. The Cats 9-11-65 to the Ants 5-6-36. Bradford in last quarters. If the Ants can get 1 or 2 in the early stages of the term, it might just get the Cats players thinking. But it's been really hard work scoring for the Ants today as Conway, perfect hit out to Hardy. Handball intercepted though, and the Ants a chance to go forward first, but Velasaris wrapped up by Mullen.
Really good tackle by the Irishman. JL would have been away and streaming towards goal.
Elliott this time with first hand on it. Free kick's going to go the Ants' way. Fairley puts it to the hot spot. Romeliotis got a hand to it. Still going Romeliotis. Tried to shovel the handball out to Jorgensen. Under pressure here, Conway. Pressure good from the Ants. Frank snaps around the corner but misses everything.
Unfortunate. It was an industrious effort from Caleb Franks. Cats fans just joining us from GMHBA Stadium, hoping to see a second victory for the day. As Lawson Humphries thumps it to the wing, Nevitt, strong mark over the top. Chips it towards the wing, backpedaling James Willis. Look him up on Twitter. Gave it to Hardy. Sent it down towards full forward, and Manor. All day, every day, we'll take that mark. Plays on, runs away, got run down. All day, every day, he'll try something like that. Brilliant chase by the Bullants. I think that was Matt King. Saved a certain goal. Well done.
And there's the other co-captain, Mackie. Straight up the guts to Velasaris. That's a good mark, though, Herbert. And that might be 50. It will.
Ouch.
Yeah, Franks just took him to ground after he had taken the mark. And that'll really hurt the Ants because Herbert's going to be brought to the top of the square. And after an inspiring effort just a moment ago, comes a deflating one. And Marcus Herbert puts through his first goal of the season, and it makes life really, really difficult for the Ants from here.
Yeah, that really stings when you had the potential team lifter from the skipper, and then just an inexperienced mistake, really. And Marcus Herbert, who copped a big bump in the second quarter, but shrugged that off and has come back to, again, be a good contributor today for Geelong. 6 goals now. Seems like a bridge too far, but you never know. They need to get it back straight away, the Bullants. Closey, or Hardy in fact it was, goes towards half forward. Here's a chance now for Edmonds, receive the hand pass. Great run down by Mackie. Trying to work his way through his Wiltshire, can't do so. And the other captain potentially saves a goal. Or certainly a shot at goal right there.
Yep.
A little bit slow to get up is Ethan Mantis, and he's going to come off with the blood rule, so that gives us a chance to tell Cats fans about the AFL game. If you plan to watch it later and you don't want to know the score, turn the dial down. Geelong 21-13, 139 over North Melbourne, 10-4-64. A 75-point win, 6 goals to Jeremy Cameron, 4 to Brad Close and 3 to Shannon Neal.
Conway's palm down nice, but straight to Wallace. In the direction of Goodman. He's beaten to it though. Nevitt. Handball off to Herbert, whose kick is smothered. Velasaris tried the mid-air handball. Unable to get it free though. 36-point game. It's felt closer than that for most of it. The Ants have dominated territory at times, but haven't been able to make it count on the scoreboard as Herbert puts it out on the full. The Ants going to try and reload from the last line of defence. Wallace. Short for Hayes. King floats in from the side. Certainly can't question the Ants' endeavour today. Just lacked a little bit of polish at certain moments, and that's been the real difference between the two sides. Caperon pumps it long. Well placed is King. He'll go immediately to Velasaris.
Sweep it wide by hand. That was McMillan who sent it into the middle of the ground. El Hawley. Through the middle now they go. Running on quickly as Hamilton receives it back. Steps around 2, slips over trying to go through the 3rd. And he's gone. Willis, the man of the moment. Brings it out wide to Foster. Mongrel punt back inside, turns it over. Romeliotis, another chance for Hamilton. Who's going to win this foot race? Tracking it is Goodman. Can he get a kick away? Good defence there by Mullen. The Irishman's been good back there today. Murdoch to Jecker. Out of trouble to Nevitt. And he'll stroll out of halfback.
No one comes at him. So he runs his full measure. Then Closey unable to keep it alive. Again, another opportunity for the Ants. Just undone by a lack of polish going inside 50. Conway with the hit out. Fairly bumped off his handball. Elliott moving slowly. Closey got him. Ants able to win it back though. Velasaris. Caperon playing in front. Has been the master interceptor today. And really for the last few years. He's taken over the captaincy of this Geelong VFL side for season 2024. Nevitt up to 21 disposals, the most on the ground. Hardy has 20. Here's Rowan. Cats fans keeping a close eye on him as he plays his first game at any level for the season. To a fellow seasoned AFL campaigner in Buse. And now White. Just inside the arc.
He certainly needed the run, Gary Rowan. That's just his 4th disposal for the game. And he has played a fair whack of game time too.
So Todd White is one of a handful of inclusions to this Geelong side for today's game. Runs out to get extra distance, and it's a helicopter. Big fist from El Hawley. Herbert tracking it. Tried to find Caperon, who goes down and wins it back. Caperon on all fours. Herbert through traffic nicely. but finds only Jacobs by foot.
And Alex Jacobs at half-back. Needs to find a target here to get it up the ground. He heads in the direction of Jorgensen and kicked it about 5 metres over his head. Capper on. Send it back for the Cats. Former Frankston player. Pops it out wide to Stevens. A 19-year-old with the body of a 25-year-old. He's a very well-developed young footballer as he kicks inside 50. Hayes at the back on the left foot. Pops it around the corner, and there he is again, Stevens. That's a powerful mark. 29 disposals last year in his second game playing as a top-up out of the Falcons against Collingwood.
Yep.
Collingwood were on their way to a finals appearance when he did that. So you'd expect that he'll play a fair bit of AFL footy. Kicks from 55. Here's Stevens towards the goal square. Conway had 5 of them to beat, and he couldn't beat them. The mark was taken by Wallace.
It's been good today. A couple of shaky moments with ball in hand, but has defended well. Goes the long, safe option. Caught behind was Tome. Did well, though, to create the contest. And now Crosby gets it away. Hamilton taken high by Buse. Professional, I think, to give the Cats some time to get back in numbers. Mackie. He's been a good performer in his milestone game. Number 50 for the Ants co-captain. Velasaris unable to get to it. It wasn't a great ball, in all fairness. Mullen retrieves, and, well, Foster was going to mark anyway. Manna pumping those legs towards goal. Foster goes in that direction. The ball was perfect.
And this time he doesn't play on.
He's learned his lesson from quarter number 3.
Well, he's cost himself 2 goals by playing on, hasn't he? 1 in the third and 1 earlier in this fourth quarter.
And you suspect now he'll kick his third. Sean Manna. Top of the square. Makes it 42 points.
Yeah, three goals, 3 for Sean Manna today. Just his 10th disposal. And, but when he gets the ball, they're usually just quality, aren't they? He could have and probably should have 5 goals.
And Foster, just terrific. You see the athleticism, the way he's able to get it and go, and then the foot skills, 50-metre bullet pass that just landed in Manna's breadbasket. That's why the Cats are excited about that young man.
So 42 points the margin. 12 minutes into the last quarter here. One down by Romeliotis, taken by Hardy, fed it back to Lawson, back to Hardy. On the wing, puts it out wide. Wall covered the ground well, knocked it away. McMillan slides but can't keep it in. And it'll be tossed back into play. There's Josh Hamilton there. Sliding in with the blue boots on. Romeliotis won it down against Lewis. Good tackle. Put on by McCormick. Taken by Romeliotis, who sent it towards half forward. Bootlace's job here for Todd White. Rowan arrived. Got the hand pass up to Murdoch. To half forward of the wing he goes. Nice piece of work there from Jacobs, but he has the numbers against him. Gathered now by Ballantyne under the pump. He let it go. Murdoch has another crack at it. Buse was there as well. Ants managed to tumble it forward. Dodging and weaving. There is Velasaris. He's going to end up getting the footy back here. Under the pump, however, can't get it away. And he's going to win a free kick for a trip. And it'll be taken by Velasaris, and he pops it inside 50, but a strong mark by Tanner Lewis.
Been impenetrable, the Geelong defence today. The Ants have had opportunities, but haven't been able to put up a big score. And that's all the credit in the world to the Cats' defence. Murray. Now White. Jekka streaming off half back to Humphreys. Now Stevens. Pick 58 in last year's draft. From the Rebels. Well-weighted ball. Gets to Mullen. Mackie just misjudged it.
And he deserves a goal, I reckon, O'Sheen Mullen. Very good today. This is 18 disposals. He doesn't want to kick the goal, though.
Yep, he passes it off instead. And it'll be the young man, Tobin Murray, the 23rd man. He's been quiet today. Kicked 4 goals 2 weeks ago. It's his opportunity now to hit the score sheet.
It'll be just his 6th disposal, Tobin Murray.
Started his state league career well. 6 goals in his first 2 games, but he can't get one on this occasion.
So the Ants still working hard, but they've run out of ways to score. With Elliott being forced into the ruck just to match up against the height of Conway. McCormick brings it out to the wing. Capperon over the top, brought the footy to ground. Jekka received the handball from Edmonds, fires it back into a 1-on-7 contest, and Bradkey was the one who did almost win at the contest, and in the end got it through for a behind.
Hayes quickly plays on. He's got Wall on his own on the outer side. Off to Goodman. Velasaris streaming back towards goal. Ball just needs to be in his vicinity. It was, but couldn't quite take the mark. And the Cats, they get back in numbers so well. Jekka can't quite find his target. Big Johnson trying to force his way through. Goodman again. Tumbling ball. Chaos ball might work. El Hawley confronted by Mullen. Gets boot to ball. Plenty of numbers underneath it. Edmonds drags it in. Gets it back out. And the Cats see off another spirited Bullants attack. It's Closey. Mackie getting a fingertip on the ball. And we'll throw it in.
Velasaris lay flat on the ground with his head down after that contest. He realised that he perhaps should have got a handle on it. We know how good he is and how high a standard he holds himself to, so he'll fight to get that one back. Hand pass over the top. McCormick received it from Edmonds, who kicks forward. Only as far as Humphreys, who puts it into the path of Ballantyne, who can go. Jamison Ballantyne sends the kick up towards half-forward. Manor in a one-on-one with Jacobs. Jacobs has done very nicely indeed. The support, however, came from Ollie Wiltshire, who smothered the handball and got it over the line. The margin stays at 44. Mitch Nevitt comes back on for another run. If he's smart, he'll stay where he is. And on his own with El Hawley about 25 metres away. Walwal. He's in trouble here, and that was a throw. So it'll be a free kick to Geelong. Tanner Lewis to take it. And he'll just set it up into the pocket. Not the best of kicks, and an easy mark taken by Will Wallace.
Goes across the ground for Hayes. Crosby caught in a 1-on-2 and never had a chance. Mullen inboard for Closey. couple of Cats almost spoiled each other, but ending up with it is Hardy.
Yeah, they had a little look at each other to see who was going to go, and in the end they both decided to go, and Hardy was the man in front.
Kicked a goal in the opening term, did Mitch Hardy. This will be his 25th disposal, which will be the most on the ground. He's made an excellent start to the Smithies VFL season. 25 and a half touches and 5 tackles a game.
It's not easy breaking into that AFL midfield, is it?
The 6th pick in last year's mid-season draft from Woodville West Torrens. He kicks from 50 and he puts it through. Well, it's turning into a bit of a rout here at Geneseo Oval. Not representative of how the game has gone for the most part, but the Cats have very much had to earn this win.
Certainly have. It'll be their first of the season. Bullants will fall to 0-2 ahead of a 5-day break and a trip down the highway, down to the pod to take on Frankston on Friday night.
Yeah, they'll give themselves a chance in that one. Should be a fascinating matchup. Frankston's started the season very well.
Beat them down there on standalone Saturday
Yep.
in the practice match series. So they'll go down there with a little bit of confidence that they can repeat the dose. Geelong is preparing to take on the Brisbane Lions up at Brighton Homes Arena, so an interstate trip for them coming up. As the handball came out to Stevens, who'll flip it out wide, and Ballantyne is happy to steady things down. Chips to the wing, Closey gets away from his man, not the best of kicks. Humphreys up to the task, kicks inside 50. Running under the ball there was Tobin Murray. Bradkey had it ripped out of his grasp by Jacobs, fed the hand pass to Fairley, who ran straight into a brick wall called George. And he's brought down, and then Bradkey on the second tackle gives away a free kick for going too high, and it'll go to King.
Goes to Hayes. Not a lot on broadcast side. He's able to find Hamilton, who's been good again. Over 20 disposals. That's 21 to be exact. Not a great ball, though. And that's very dangerous. Cats player down. Awkward landing.
Herbert
Herbert again. So he's been in the wars today, that's for sure. Able to get back out there after what appeared to be a bit of a head clash in the second term. And he's getting back to his feet after landing heavily on his back.
It's the standing concussion test. The doctor's happy, or is he? No, no, there's the wobbly legs. He's gone this time, and he's filthy about it too.
Yep.
Slams the mouth guard down.
Now he's going to have to come off Marcus Herbert, and surely won't be seeing him the rest of today.
And he won't be going to Brisbane either, I wouldn't have thought.
So it's going to be Closey with ball in hand instead. Hope Marcus Herbert is okay. Closey out of the corner of his eye saw Lewis.
Under the new rules too, while Lewis lines up for his shot, he's a VFL listed player.
Yep.
That's 21
Yep.
days
Yep.
if he fails the concussion test. There was a little hint there that wasn't good. So that's they can play on the 21st day. So we'd need a Sunday game in the third week. Otherwise, he misses 3 games.
In comes Lewis. Misses to the near side. No buys coming up for the Cats in the next 3 weeks.
So Brisbane Lions away next week.
Yep, then Carlton, then Frankston.
Yeah. As we see Hayes thump it to the outer wing. Jumping before acceptances there was, well, they made a mess of this. He's going to get it back. The one who jumped early was Mason Goodman. He ends up with the football, puts the pressure on, and Bailey Tome gets a kick into open space, but there's a cat camped in that open space. It's the debutant in Todd White. He brings it across to Mullen. O'Sheen goes to Hardy. 1-2 back to Mullen. Chips it to half forward. On the strong lead is Tobin Murray. Starting to get his hands on the footy in the last quarter. Lovely kick. Well, Foster actually ran underneath it. Caught with the footy here was it Buse? Was it Mullen? It was followed up. It was O'Sheen Mullen who kept going. He's been a wonderful contributor today. Conway. And Hardy is helped back over the boundary line.
Hardy up to 26 touches. Humphreys 25. Jecker and Nevitt 22 apiece for the Cats. Hamilton and Velosaurus 21 for the Ants. King 20. And El Hawley has 19. Pat Fairley followed up his 46 with 18 so far today. Still gives him a healthy average of 32 as the ball's locked up. King last to get back to his feet. Conway. Mullen goes to ground. Edmonds. Clever tap for Manor. Breaks one tackle in the pocket. Gets around a second. Oh. And Foster got in the way. That would have been a Smithy snag for Sean Manor. But Phoenix Foster got in the way. And the Ants clear. Edmonds keeps it alive. But only for a moment.
Yeah, I'm sure what was going on down there in the goals. I think it took an off break that Nathan Lyon would be proud of, and that's what caught the Cats' attacker out. As the ball comes back into play, Conway has been big. Hardy puts it inside 50, knocked down by Jacobs. Manor overran the football, went back and got it, but had to handball under pressure. King was dragged down high, and he'll win the free kick, Matty King. Closing in on 50. Oh. Bullants games. He's mucked this one up. He's given it straight to Lewis, who just misses. 1 goal 2 for Tanner Lewis. A late inclusion. Margin is 51 points.
Hayes up the middle, but straight to Caperon. Struggled to get it out of their defensive half. In the last 15 minutes, the Ants and Nevitt is now going to be the latest Cat to line them up.
And yeah, it's if he kicks this, it pushes out to almost 10 goals. And the Ants haven't scored in the last quarter, so that'll be a positive for Mark Corrigan, having seen his team drop away in the last quarters of their previous 2 games.
They've got 3-4 in this term. The Cats, Nevitt makes it 3-5.
Hayes this time spears the kick in low. Gets it to Franks. Sends it to the wing. Capper on it. Got through his hands. Goodman at the back. Tumbles a kick towards the wing. Buse drops the diving mark. Picked up by Jecker. Turns it over. And the mark is taken there by Edmonds, who kicks towards half forward. Coming in from the side and knocking the ball to ground was Ballantyne as the siren sounds to end this one. And it is Geelong who have got the job done by 53 points today. Far too good in the end. The Northern Bullants brave in the contest, Michael, but Geelong too good. 12-7.